there on our radar, and what insight can you give us?
Hey there, Claire. Good to chat this morning. We're taking a look at this tornado warning in effect right now, heading towards Spotsylvania Courthouse. Snell kind of in the thick of it right now. It's for central Spotsylvania County. And my biggest concern is that this is one of those days where the rotation is very close to the ground. We have low cloud bases, low LCLs, or lifting condensation levels. So even if we don't see super strong rotation within a cloud, it's tough to know what's happening to the ground, but it'd have a much easier time reaching the ground. Now, one thing, if we can pull up base reflectivity right now, I want to talk about is the fact we're seeing a bit of a donut hole on radar just about 3 or 4 miles west-southwest of Snell, actually approaching downtown right now. Anytime on reflectivity, when we see that donut hole, we call it a bounded weak echo region. That's usually a sign, you can actually see that pretty well right there, usually a sign there's strong upward velocity within a storm that could be commensurate with a tornadic circulation. So if you're in Snell, Blades Corner, Old Trap, Thornburg, you want to seek shelter now, lowest floor of whatever building you're in, and avoiding windows. Mobile home, vehicle outdoors, get to a site-built location and protect yourself from flying debris. And again, the great thing about Fox 5, watch us on the mobile app, watch us online, take us on your mobile device, get to your safe place, and put as many layers between yourself and the outside world as you can. Down the road, soon to impact, it looks like 608, 632, Route 1, and eventually 95 if it heads together. Again, part of 95 is in that tornado warning and actually seeing a bit of a tightening of rotation right now between downtown Snell and Spotsylvania Courthouse. Very soon to cross Route 202 and 208. So it looks like a roads like, for example, Hunter Cove Drive, the Folger Factory, Poe River Drive, Hunter's Lodge Drive, Weeks Lane, Snow Hill Drive. You guys are next in line. Now, what you're seeing right now, the little bend in the line right near Spotsylvania, that bend is that counterclockwise rotation within the storm. We call this a northern bookend vortex. Essentially, there's a squall line, the northern part starts to curve back on itself just a little bit, and that's where we're tracking the potential rotation and potential tornado right there. Again, no indications of anything on the ground right now, but that said, the cloud bases are so low, it'd be very easy for a funnel to snake down, and on days like today where you have, low cloud bases, you don't want to wait to see or hear it coming. And one other thing I'll mention, earlier on in Bedford County down in South Central Virginia or Lynchburg, we did have an EF2 to almost EF3 tornado that touched down, causing major damage, damaging 20 homes, destroying at least 2, with, quote, catastrophic damage reported by the police department there. So again, this whole storm system has a history of some meteorological mischief, and if you're in Snell, in Spotsylvania Courthouse, in Spotsylvania County, you'll want to seek shelter. Claire?
All right, thank you so much, Matt, for your insight on that. You can see again those storm systems.
And tell us what we're looking at here down near Chancellor and down near Spotsylvania.
Hey there, Tucker. Absolutely right. Yeah, this system does have a history of producing tornadoes, quick spin-ups, and on days like today, you don't have the typical environmental cues. These things are very low-top supercells, so they don't have the big hail, they don't have, the super mean-looking clouds, they don't have a ton of thunder and lightning. Yeah, you'll get some thunder and lightning, but really today's a day with straight-line winds and embedded areas of rotation that can produce tornadoes, and these things can develop very quickly with little warning. So it's good we have this warning out in advance. Right now, we are seeing some rotation tightening between Snell and Spotsylvania Courthouse. Again, moving east-northeast at 35 miles per hour, soon to cross 95 just north of Thornburg, south of Fredericksburg. So if you know folks driving south on 95, tell them to get off the highway in Falmouth or Fredericksburg, park there for a little while, get to a site-built location, just kind of wait 15, 20 minutes for the circulation to pass. Same thing for folks riding north. Get off the highway in like Thornburg, park there for a little while, just wait it out. But again, Spotsylvania Courthouse and Snell under that rotation right now, just crossed 208, soon to impact looks like 632, Bell's Pleasure 608. A lot of areas in the line. So Dowd Farm Road, Steadfast Trail, Berkshire Lane, East Bridge Way, Deer Run Road, Hickory Ridge Road. If you guys are in that area, you want to be below ground if possible. If not, most interior room on the lowest floor of whatever building you're in and avoiding windows. If you have some extra time, then maybe grab a blanket, a pillow, something to put over your head, because in the event that there is a tornado, which we can't confirm right now, the biggest injury producer and the biggest cause of fatality is usually head injuries. So you want to protect your head from any debris if you're in that area. But again, Burnell Road, Mason Pax Church Road, Ridge Tree Road, and Surrey Road soon to be in line from this potential tornadic circulation. Again, only about 3 or 4 minutes out from impacting the 95 corridor between Fredericksburg and Thornburg. And again, on radar, you can see the bigger picture. This whole line of storms, these are not supercells yet. But one thing I want to point out, and Claire doing a great job driving the radar, look back by Roanoke, Charleston, West Virginia, soon to be in Fairfax. All those areas, that's clearing skies. Now, that means that we've used up the morning juice for thunderstorms. We'll get more storms to brew later on today. And with the shear, the change of wind speed and or direction with height, when the actual cold front comes through, I do think we'll have more rotating supercell thunderstorms this afternoon, mainly between 3 and 7 p.m. So this is one of those days where we have a lengthy, a long duration threat. We have to be in a heightened state of awareness. And school districts out there, something to be cognizant of when you're dismissing students this afternoon. Make sure the bus drivers know what they've got to do if they find themselves with a tornado warning. But again, the immediate concern is near and just east of downtown Spotsylvania Courthouse. It is moving east-northeast at about 35-ish miles per hour. Again, no confirmation of a tornado on the ground or anything like that, but on days like today, you want to treat it seriously. Also, another area of rotation just about, say, 10-ish miles to the south-southeast near Milford and Bowling Green, just another kink in that line. And then farther north, seeing similar issues a little bit northeast of Goldane. So with that, Tucker, we'll pass it back over to you, and I know you have more to report.
I do, Matt. Thank you. You're doing a great job. I want to just kind of back it up here. All right, Matt, you still out there?
Yep, still here. I think one thing that's worth mentioning, too, is in addition to, like we were saying, in addition to this first line of storms, once these storms come through, we don't want folks to let their guard down because there will be likely a second round this afternoon along the cold front. We call it self-destruct sunshine. Any sun that comes out after this first band is going to heat the ground, get more pockets of air to go up, make more storms later today. And with the changing winds with height, these things could rotate. But we do want to mention there's that new severe thunderstorm warning for cities like Fredericksburg, Falmouth, Fairview Beach, Stafford, Port Royal. And again, gusty winds, 45, 50 miles per hour possible with this. But the concern, perhaps additional tornado warnings down the road. Right now, we do have no tornado warnings for our viewing area. That is the good news. Everything has been allowed to expire. But we just want to make sure that, if more tornado warnings are issued later today, we'll be back on air wall to wall. You can watch us on TV. You can watch us, on Facebook, Twitter, and of course, online, fox5bc.com/live. That way you can get to your safe space if a warning's issued and bring us with you.
For the next couple hours. All right, Matt, what you got?
Hey there, Tucker. Sorry about that. Looking at a new area of rotation that is just beginning to develop near Burtonsville, Fulton, and Laurel. Again, not tornado warned yet, but it's one of those days where we want to give folks an advanced heads up. It's these little kink in the line circulations where you have easterly or southeasterly winds ahead of the main line and winds out of the west-northwest behind the main line. They meet, they make these little, we call these kinks in the line that have these quick-hitting spin-ups. And that's why there's this new area of rotation near West Laurel. It's not particularly tight right now. But like we said, on environments like this, things come together pretty quickly. But again, the main focus is, of course, to put that circulation near Dayton, which looks a little broader, a little weaker on radar now, which is good news. We want these things to kind of fall apart. But I'm definitely keeping close tabs on like Burtonsville to Fulton. If you know folks there, northeast, even right along 95, a little bit south of Columbia, it's something to watch over the next 10 to 15 minutes. So you don't have to go to your safe space yet up there,
Matthew,
but
we just got a warning.
Brand new one, Matt. Nice call.
Yeah, that was a very
All right,
good
well,
call.
I guess we do have to go to the safe place.
Yeah, there was just a tornado warning issued for that exact area, portions of Howard and Montgomery until 1 p.m. So the rotation that you saw right near Columbia, that was just flagged and moving very quickly to the north and east at 40 miles an hour.
Matt, perhaps you can explain to us, I know you've been out in the Midwest chasing storms, what is the difference between a tornado or a tornado threat that we oftentimes see across the mid-Atlantic versus the kind that you've been chasing across mid-sections of the country?
Yeah, Tucker, that's a really good question. So I'm in Dallas, Texas right now chasing supercell tornadoes. So these big hulking thunderstorms that might hit 50,000 feet. They're lone, they're discrete, they're isolated. They look like floating birthday cakes because they're their own self-contained areas of rotation. The environment we're dealing with today is what we call a QLCS, or a quasi-linear convective system. I know for the folks at home, that sounds kind of scary. Basically, it's a squall line with embedded kinks of rotation. Now, today, we're not seeing big hail. You're not seeing crazy thunder and lightning. Yeah, there's some, but the storms aren't super duper tall, but they're just tall enough. They tap into strong momentum, jet stream energy aloft, and they start to spin. Now, the spin isn't super long-lived. It doesn't stick around for a long time, but we get these quick hitting spin ups that might only last for a scan or two on radar, hence why they're very difficult to warn. But they come together. You have a tornado that might touch down for a minute, 2 minutes. But in that time span, it can cause damage, which is why if it seems like we're all over the place today, that's kind of how the environment is. We've come on the air 3 times for 3 separate tornado warnings. And frankly, that'll be kind of how the day goes. I think after this morning QLCS, we'll clear the air. We'll get a couple hours of sunshine. And then this evening, the environment is more favorable for a few supercells along the cold front. So multiple different storm modes today. But now we have severe thunderstorm warnings all the way to the Chesapeake, in addition to these 2 tornado warnings. And those severe thunderstorm warnings go from the northern neck all the way to the Mason-Dixon line. So a lot to track.
Yeah, you said it. All right, again.
In itself, Matthew.
Yeah, that's a really good point. With these QLCS or quasi-linear convective systems, it's really tricky because oftentimes the tornado comes on the leading edge, which is atypical to conventional thunderstorms. And at the same time, they're usually cloaked in rain. So as a result of that, you can't see it, you can't hear it coming. That's a very tricky element of this. We have 1 tornado warning in effect right now, but we've kind of seen that area of circulation shift in the storm. Earlier on, we were concerned more about Long Reach, like Dobbin Center, the Snowden Square Shopping Center, Bonfresco down that way, just north of 95, a little bit north of Savage and Guilford. Now it's heading more towards Columbia, Route 29, Route 100, St. John's Village, a little bit south of Ellicott City. So again, no areas of rotation quite as strong as they were earlier on. I'm looking at the really sensitive radar out of BWI. But that said, still multiple areas of broad diffuse spin within this storm, and any single one of them could pulse up very quickly. Thus far, we have not seen the polygon extended downwind farther towards like Cantonsville and Ellicott City, which is good news there. So it hasn't been extended yet, but it could be. And once again, seeing some rotation near Columbia, the southern part of the rotation near like Savage Guilford has kind of winded down at this point. So we're almost done with this morning's round. But like we've been saying all morning long, once this clears, and keep in mind, this came in about an hour earlier than some of the models were saying, once this clears, now we'll get more sunshine, self-destruct sunshine, heat the ground, get more instability for the afternoon. That's more juice for storms along the cold front. And those ones will likely be more supercellular, more isolated, more discrete. And I think DC and especially points southwards this afternoon, considering we have that juice and the wind shear, changing winds with height, we'll be looking at a tornado threat once again. So a very long, very busy day where folks have to be in a heightened state of awareness and know where they'll shelter anytime throughout the day. Guys?
Yeah, Matthew, we now have a severe thunderstorm warning, but it's with the caveat that a tornado is possible down in